All right, hey everyone. So I'm working on this big painting right now, and I decided to stop in the middle of it and make this video because there's a few things not going well with this painting that I don't like, but I'm going to fix them. So in this video, I'm going to explain what I don't like about the painting, how I plan to fix it, and also how I could have avoided all these problems in the beginning. All right, if you're new to the channel, then welcome to Paint Coach. My name is Chris Fornatero, and I'm here to help simplify oil painting so that you can get better faster. All right, so I'm painting and I don't like how it is looking. The first thing I want to do is figure out what is wrong. And I was actually having trouble figuring out what is wrong. To tell you the truth, I was having that feeling for a while I was painting it. Something always just seemed a little off as I was developing it, and I thought, oh, I just need to develop it more, and maybe when I add on more details, it'll start coming together, but it didn't. Adding more details is never the answer. If something is not looking right in your painting, don't think that it's, oh, I just need to add more details. The details will bring it all together and make it work. No, if something's wrong and you don't know what is wrong, you need to go through your fundamentals and check your paintings using those. So I did that with this. I looked and I first said, all right, my drawing. Is my drawing okay? Is anything not working drawing-wise? Everything seems to be working right. Nothing seems off or distorted or perspective not working. Everything seems to be working right. And then I go to my colors, like how are my colors? Are my colors okay? And I know my colors are looking right because I'm working from a photo reference and a plein air piece. I actually went out and painted a small 9x12 version of this scene on location. So I'm like, okay, I know my colors are gonna be right, my values, I know my values are gonna be pretty right. And I felt that my plein air piece turned out pretty well. So I was like, all right, colors and values, they can't be that off. Like, that's not the reason why this isn't working. And then I go to composition. And I think, okay, what is the focal point of this? Or what do I want to be the focal point of this? And I want it to be this little light effect on the side of the boat here. So then, I take a step back and I say, okay, is that actually reading as the focal point? I want it to be the focal point, but me wanting it to be the focal point and it actually being the focal point are two totally different things. So I think, is there anything taking attention away or competing for attention with this focal point? And the answer is yes. It's this giant, big, bright shape down here in the corner. And it's like, why is this taking away so much attention? It's because it's just as bright as the focal point. And a big reason the focal point is the focal point is because it's this light area surrounded by relative darker areas. So having an area that's just as light but 10 times bigger is going to draw a lot of attention away from it. And also just the fact that it's like down in the corner, it's causing the viewer's eye to go down into the right hand corner and off the canvas, which is the opposite of what I want. Little side note with focal points is a lot of times your focal point will be the area of the painting where the darkest value and the lightest value touch. It may not be the absolute darkest or the absolute lightest value, but the area where there's kind of the most contrast in light and dark, a lot of times will be your focal point or just the area that the viewer's eye goes to right away. So I'm thinking like, oh man, like how did this happen? How come this didn't stand out to me when I was doing the plein air piece? Because that seemed to work fine. So I go back and I look closer at my plein air piece and I actually see that this light area of the cement in the bottom right hand corner, I didn't put in nearly as bright as I was in this larger version. And now that I was like aware of this, I actually was not that thrilled with this area being this bright even in the plein air piece. So I'm thinking, okay, how do I fix this? I obviously need to darken this area. So I think, what if I put this area in shadow? And not only if I put it in shadow, but what if I left a little bit of light? So it would actually create a beam of light, which would be a good horizontal to help drive the viewer's eye to my focal point. So then I go through the reference photos that I took while I was there to see if I have any references for what the cement area looks like in shadow. And luckily enough, I found a photo where I saw some of this cement in shadow, so I kind of knew the color and value that it should be. Also, while going through my reference photos, I found this photo of a boat that had a very bright orange buoy on it. And I was like, oh, that would actually be really cool because I don't have any reds or oranges in this painting. It's a lot of greens, it's a lot of blues, and it'd be really cool to have greens complements red, blues complements orange, to so have like kind of a reddish orangish color in there somewhere would be a really strong accent mark, and that'd be great to kind of put around my focal point to just drive the eye there even more. So I'm like, all right, I'm gonna put this buoy in hanging off my boat right next to this light effect. So with my plan all figured out, I go and I execute all these changes. Now at this point, the painting has actually been only sitting a day, so the paint is still wet, even though I did use a fast drying medium in Galkid Light, the paint is still wet. So instead of trying to paint over top of it, which is gonna be very difficult because there's a lot of light paint, and it's hard to paint dark paint on top of light paint, and you know, it's just gonna be a lot of paint on the canvas. So I actually take a palette knife and scrape down the area where I'm gonna be putting these changes in. And it's nice because even though I'm scraping off paint, I still keep a lot of the information there. It's still there, just very thinly. So it's not like I have to redraw things or figure out where things are. I just get to scrape the paint down and have an easier surface to put paint on. And as I'm putting this in, I'm thinking, oh, I think I can make this a little more interesting. And what if I broke up this beam of light and actually had a smaller beam of light as well going over these boards? And I just think it would add, you know, a little more interest. So I do that. Now, how could I have avoided this problem and not put myself in a position where I'm in the middle of a big painting with a lot of paint on it and I realize I have to make this big change and scrape off paint and refigure everything out? All I had to do was do a couple little thumbnail sketches. Now, I normally do this before going into a large painting, but like I said, like I already done the small plein air painting and I kind of figured out the cropping and everything on Photoshop before I jumped in. So I felt really comfortable diving in, and like I haven't done a big painting like this in a while. So I was like really excited to get going, and I didn't do my little thumbnail sketches. Doing small thumbnail sketches, they don't have to be big. They could be 2 by 3 inches. You don't have to get much detail at all, but just mapping out the big shapes of light and dark and finding a compositional pattern that works and is interesting. All right, I think the painting is looking a lot better now. I hope you enjoyed that video. If you did, please hit that like button and subscribe to the channel. And if you want to see what I'm painting on a daily basis, you can follow me on Instagram at Forza43. I'm Chris Fornatero here telling you to go get painting.